My goal for this week is to not be 0-6 in my high stakes league. That's my goal for this week. Is to not be 0-6 in my high stakes league. Fantasy Week 6 Q&A. Let's get into it.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone.
All right, what's Q&A? Let's do this Q&A. What's up, Rashad? What's going on, Eddie? Ooh, that's a tough one. 2 wide receivers. Juju, Fuller, the 5th, and Cup. Give me Fuller and give me Juju. I know you are, Rashad. Keep living the retirement life, bro. 2 questions. Go for it, Aspen. I got Giants defense versus Redskins with Redskins QB situation. Was that a good move? Yes. I have no problem playing the Giants defense this week. The quarterback situation in Washington, the Washington football team is a mess. So I have no issue, no qualms about playing the Giants defense this week. Watson versus Titans, Cam versus Broncos. Watson versus Titans. But that's close, man. That's super close. I like Watson a lot this week, though. Chris Godwin, Darnell Henderson, Antonio Gibson. Which one for the flex? Godwin, but I'm cringing. You got Lamb and Fulgham. You gonna play him? I think Fulgham might be playable depending on your situation. I don't think I want to go any higher than a flex with him. I know it's tough. It's tough, Aspen. It's tough, Rashad. It's tough, man. But Deshaun Watson should have a heck of a day today. They're not as good as you think they are. And I think Texans is going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a sneaky shootout. Boyd versus Indy or Crowder versus Miami. Oof. I'm going with Crowder, but it's reluctant only because Crowder's going to get the garbage points. I think Miami's going to destroy the Jets, so Crowder's going to get his garbage. And Crowder played pretty well with Joe Flacco last week. So I think Crowder's like the guy. 2 running backs, Mixon, Davis, Madison, Drake, and Duke Johnson. If it's Mike Davis, it's Mike Davis and Madison. Those are the 2 running backs. Don't worry about anything else other than that. I think the Panthers can detain Foles today and get the win. I think the Panthers can win today, man. I picked them in my pool, so we'll see how it goes. And Rashad, man, you're gonna laugh. I forgot to do the suicide pool last week, so I wasn't able to get anybody in with regards to that. So I'm eliminated off gate, and now somebody's knocking at my door. All right, so. You need to trade somebody if you got this dilemma every week and try to get value in some of the places that you need, Aspen. Now back to the game. I mean, my concern is David Montgomery right now. I don't trust the run I don't trust our run defense at all. You know, I don't trust it. So my concern is Montgomery. Foles might not have to do much of anything if we can't stop Montgomery. Julio's healthy. He's playing today. I'm playing him. Yeah, it's funny. The 0-5 league that I'm in, I have Julio and I have Godwin. And on top of that, I have Cook. Luckily, I was able to grab Madison from waivers, but... Yes, the Panthers are correct in not rushing Christian back. We're 3-0 without him. But they shouldn't rush him back anyway, because the thing is, there's no reason for Christian McCaffrey having to rush back. Because he just got paid. He got his $16 million a year. There's absolutely no reason why they should rush Christian back. None whatsoever. We're winning. Now it gets interesting if we win today. I will say that. I don't think we should rush him back though. I wouldn't bring him back until he's 100%. And when he does come back, he's not gonna have the same amount of work that he had before. What's going on, Trappy? I think by now the inactors should be ready. So let me go and pull up these inactors real quick. And let me see here. First things first. Pull that out. Move this here. Let's see. Yeah, I would trade him. And trade him now. Well, the thing is, I don't know if I would trade him now or wait until he has a game and he goes off and then trade him. And Rashad's talking about fancy. Don't be alarmed, Panther Nation. Don't be alarmed. All right. Roto World. Let's do. All right. Let's see here. What these inactives looking like. Let me try to pull this up so you guys can actually see it. Pull that in front. Flex, Mixon, Kenyon Drake, Cup, Duke Johnson. Mixon. Give me Mixon. I'll take Mixon there. All right. I gotta pull myself back up real quick while I get this down. Of course, this doesn't want to work the way I would like it to work. All right. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing surprising so far with the inactives. Nothing surprising. Nothing surprising at all. I don't see anything surprising. Mike Davis is the top 5 running back, bro. It's not even close. He's top 5. He's the top 5 running back in fantasy right now. I think he's ranked number 4, actually. But no, I disagree. I think Le'Veon Bell. See, nobody's talking about the fact that Edwards-Helaire hasn't been. He hasn't looked that good, man, over the past few weeks. I think Le'Veon is going to chew up his production a little bit. I think he won't play this week, but the following week, I think Le'Veon might end up keeping that job, man. I think Le'Veon still has it. I think he's just disgruntled with the Jets. I mean, and I think the fact that CEH hasn't been playing that well, and there might be some other factors too when you take into account. He might not be a good pass. He might not be good at picking up blitzes. Like, things like that is probably more important than whether or not you're a good running back when you are a running back. So Le'Veon was bad, but he played for the Jets. The Jets are terrible. It's a terrible franchise with a terrible coach that shouldn't have a job. And I say this all the time. I'm shocked that Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien got fired before Adam Gase, because Gase should have been fired. So, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen though about what happened with Dan Quinn. I mean, it's happened 3 times in our franchise, man. When the Panthers beat the Falcons, they tend to want to fire their coach. Teddy Bridgewater, Kyler Murray, Kyler today, man. Kyler against Dallas. Yeah, man, Giants defense is fine. Giants defense is fine. Against the Washington football team, Giants defense is fine. They can't fire Gase until they trade us Quentin. Well, don't worry, man. We might get our wish. If all you got to do with it just seems like is to complain about the fact that you don't like the coach, and you out of here. Either you get let go or trade it. Too soon to call Daniel Jones a bust. Way too soon. This is the 2nd year, man. That's not fair. He is trending towards that direction, to say the least. Why are they so bad? They traded the best wide receiver in the NFL before the season. I mean, that's a start. They shouldn't have traded Hopkins away. That was a mistake. Robbie or Devontae Parker? Well, that is a question. The Bears got a top 5 pass defense. It's a bad matchup for Robbie. It's all about whether or not you want to take the risk. Robbie should be fine because of the target distribution, but Devontae Parker should be fine because they're playing the Jets. I mean, if you go with Robbie, there's a risk involved. I know Robbie's supposed to be the guy. Like, if you believe that the focus is going to be on DJ Moore, then play Robbie. I think J.J. Watt's still a beast, but J.J. Watt's not the reason why they're losing. Zeke. It's Zeke over Mike Davis this week. But if you have both, you should be starting both. There shouldn't even be a debate here. Like, if you got Ezekiel Elliott, because especially the fact since Dak Prescott's pretty much going to be out for the season, Dallas is going to depend on the run some more. Robbie should never be benched. I agree with you. Yeah, you should be starting both then. You shouldn't be. This shouldn't even be that type of question. Yeah, you got to start both. Unless you give me unless you say something crazy like you got Aaron Jones, and even then, I think I'm probably going to start those two over Aaron Jones. So, man, Darnold, he might be a bust. But the thing is, if Darnold gets Darnold's going to get another opportunity. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets take a quarterback. Oh nah, yeah, you start Mike Davis and you start Zeke over Edmonds. And I like Edmonds, but you start him over those two. If you got room in the flex, maybe you can sneak Edmonds in the flex. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Rashad, man. Robbie should never be benched because of the fact that Robbie's getting enough targets. Robbie's getting like 7 to 10 targets a game. Curtis Samuel's inactive. All right, let's see. I haven't refreshed in a minute. Ooh. Yeah. Fire up Robbie. Fire up Moore. Should I start Cam instead? Oh man, man, real talk. Cowboys defense is so bad, man. I think I still would start Kyler. Josh looked terrible. Sam's shown sparks. Josh has looked bad. And Josh might get his opportunity. You can start Andy Dalton if you don't have any viable options. I mean, Andy Dalton's not terrible. Like, people got this perception that yeah, man, he could be but I don't believe in having backup quarterbacks in fantasy. So, I mean, if you insist on putting a second quarterback, Andy Dalton's fine, but I think for me, if I'm at the point where I'm debating to put Andy Dalton as a backup, I'm curious about who your starter is. But I typically don't keep backup quarterbacks. I only have one and I just stream, or I stream every week and I just flip them every week, because quarterback, it doesn't really. Nah, you made a mistake there, buddy. I wouldn't have traded Pat Mahomes for Robbie Anderson. You're bugging. I wouldn't. Oh no, I would have tried to trade somebody else. If that's the case, you probably need to trade another quarterback too. Like, to have 3 quarterbacks is kind of excessive, unless you have to start 2. Like, if you have to start 2, then it makes sense to have 3. I mean, Damian Harris should be fine today. Let's see, New England Patriots. Because Michelle's in the COVID list. It's going to be Damian Harris, Rex Burkhead, and James White. And it looks like Harris is going to get the bulk of the carries. And then James White and Rex Burkhead are going to be sharing everything else. So, I mean, Damian Harris is fine. I mean, if I told you one of the running backs I'm starting in one of my other leagues, you'll laugh. Let me see. Who am I starting this week? Let's see. Pull up Sleeper real quick. I'm starting Antonio Gibson. I think that's his name. I don't know what his name is. The one for Washington. Yeah, Antonio Gibson. I'm starting Antonio Gibson and Jamal Williams this week for my starting running backs in my league. That's who I'm starting this week. Jamal Williams from the Packers, the backup running back for the Packers, and Antonio Gibson. And the reason why I have to start those two is because Justin Jackson's on bye. I lost Eckler, and that's where I'm at. Shout out to Pat. Well, I mean, Ron Rivera's the coach. Of course he's going to go to his old guys. Gesicki or Ertz, I like them both today, man. But I'm rolling with Ertz. But I like them both. I don't think you can go wrong either way with that one. You trying to get Mahomes? Nobody's going to give you Mahomes for neither one of those. Unless I need to be in your league if it's a money league. That's for sure. But nobody's going to give Mahomes for that. All right. What else we got? Should I trade Cam and Levion for Mahomes? Why not? You should. I mean, do you want Mahomes that bad? I mean, having Cam is fine. Like, I think what people got to understand about quarterbacks is that the delta's not, like, unless you get one of the top tier ones, it ain't worth giving up so much for them because you can always find that value somewhere else. And if you, let me see here. Let's pull up ESPN's website real quick because now I'm curious. Let's go back to my last scene. All right, so when you look at we'll go to our podcast. Let's see. Players. Let's do all. And position rank. And let's do quarterback. All right, let's do quarterback. All right, so these are the top quarterbacks in fantasy right now, all right? You got Russ, Mahomes, Allen, Dak, Kyler, Rodgers. Kyler's 5, right? Kyler, and let's take Dak off because Dak's pretty much gone for the year. So Kyler's 5, right? So with Kyler, it makes sense. You don't need to really trade if you got Kyler. And Cam was top 3 before he got COVID. Like, Cam's probably somewhere down here. Yeah, he's down here. He was top 3 before he got COVID. So from that standpoint, you don't really need to trade for Mahomes. There's no point. You're not really getting that much. So, like, when you look at the point delta, we're talking 129 versus 137. That's so minuscule. You're talking less than 2 points delta between the two. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth giving up what you got to give up to get Pat. It ain't worth it. My opinion. I mean, I wouldn't even, like, real talk, I wouldn't even keep Dalton. I would just roll Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then when you have a tough week, go into the waiver and grab another quarterback. I don't think there's no point in keeping Dalton. There's no such thing as a waste of space because there's no shame in having depth on your roster, especially at the running back position. You can replace a quarterback. It's hard to replace a running back. And you already got 2 quarterbacks. You should be fine. A.J. Brown got a tough matchup today, man. But I would start him. He's coming back, so I'll start him. I'll take A.J. Brown over Devontae Parker. Yeah, keep Cal. You got Kyler and Cam. You're fine. Truth be told, you probably should pick one between Cam and Kyler and trade them away to get value in other positions. You don't need 2 quarterbacks. That's excessive. Unless you have to start 2, having 2 quarterbacks is pretty excessive in my opinion, but I've always been that way. I've won fantasy leagues with Blake Bortles as my quarterback. It ain't that, the position ain't as important as people hype it up to be. Let's put it to you that way. So when you start thinking about your options when it comes to the position, I never think that the position's worth it. Like, when you start factoring in other things you need. having depth is more important. I would get rid of one of the quarterbacks and try to trade to get another running back. And I wouldn't. And why do you have 3 tight ends? I don't need 3 tight ends. All I need is 1 tight end. Like I treat quarterbacks and tight ends like I treat my defense and kickers. I only need one of them. Because quarterback play is pretty variant. Like the delta is not that strong, not that big, unless you got one of the top QBs. Other than that, you only need, unless you got one of the top QBs, 2 top QBs, and you want to keep them away from others, you don't need to have like 2 quarterbacks on your roster like that. But remember, man, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Quarterbacks, you just like. I mean, I'm playing Gary Minshew in a few leagues. Like, I don't need Kyler. Like, Gary Minshew. Let's look at Gary Minshew. Where's Gary Minshew ranked? Gardner Minshew. I keep calling him Gary. Gardner Minshew. He's averaging 19 points a game. I'm fine with that. I mean, the only thing I want from my quarterback to get me is 15 to 20. There's always good quarterbacks on the wire. There's always good quarterbacks on the wire. We can use this league as an example. All right, let's let me back this up a little bit. Let me see. We can use this league as an example. This is the Panther Nation Podcast League. Quarterbacks. Who's available on the wire? Hold on, that's waivers. Let's see. Let's do available. All right, Dak's out. We expect that. You got Minshew. Minshew this week is playing Detroit. Pretty good matchup. Matthew Stafford is playing Jacksonville. Pretty good matchup. Both of these quarterbacks are going to rate. It's going to probably could potentially fall into the top 10 this week. This is 12 teams in this league. There's 12 teams in this league. Baker Mayfield, if you're up to it. Kirk Cousins is getting Atlanta today. They're playing the Falcons today. So, like, you can always find a quarterback in the waiver wire that has a good matchup. I mean, if you guys don't believe in Carolina's pass defense, you can throw in Nick Foles if you're into that. Like, there's options here. I can roll with these options. I mean, and the funny thing is, ESPN agrees with me. Matthew Stafford is rated 7th best quarterback this week. 7. Minshew's rated 11 on average, 11.5. So I don't need, and Dalton is 15, but Dalton just somebody you can put in a pinch if you really need a quarterback that bad. Because, like, when it comes to quarterbacks, man, y'all didn't even see any of that. So what I was saying, Stafford, ESPN's got them projected at 7. And Minshew, ESPN got him projected in the top 12. So there's 2 top 12 quarterbacks available right now in a 12-team league. But, because some folks draft a quarterback and play him every week. I don't necessarily do that. Like, typically when I draft, in my drafts, I draft based on where the value's at. And if it makes sense, then I don't have to stream. But if I feel like it's a streamable type of ordeal, then I'll stream my quarterback every week. I have no problem doing that. Like, in this league, if I was streaming quarterbacks, I would grab Minshew. Or Stafford. I would pick one of them up and play him this week. And I wouldn't have no problem doing it. Why do you have Ian Thomas? You can drop Ian Thomas now. You don't need to trade him. Just drop him. He's not worth keeping. Drop him and grab somebody in your waivers. You're wasting roster space. You got to keep Kelsey and Ertz because unless you want to try to trade one of them, but you got to drop. Excuse me, guys. You got to drop Ian. Ian Thomas ain't worth a roster spot. Don't let your fandom get in the way of great fantasy play. There's no reason to have Ian Thomas on the team. Pick somebody else up. All right. We're hitting the final stretch, man. We got 6 minutes to go. My son came downstairs asking to play Switch. He's been on punishment for how he's been behaving in school. So I told him you can't play Switch till Sunday after earlies, and I guess he got the okay. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm allergic to the entire environment. I don't have COVID, so I ain't worried about that. And something was in my throat, too. Justin Jefferson's out on your wire. You need to pick up Justin Jefferson. I'm still debating on who I'm going to play in one of my leagues. I want to put in Justin Jefferson. Appreciate it, Craig. Shout out to Rashad, too, man. I know he was in here earlier. I know he poked his head in here earlier. But shout out to Rashad. He's going to do the live stream today, starting at 12:45. I might poke my head in later during the game. I got errands, so I think Bell's going to do well with the Chiefs, man. I have Bell in my 0-5 league, and I'm just going to wait this out and see how it goes at this point. Because all the trades I've been getting, I haven't felt good about it. Yo, man, if COVID's gone, I'm open to it. I don't know if tailgating is a lot, and I'm not from I don't live in the area, but I'm open to meeting up with. I'm open to meeting up to folks from the podcast. I've done that. We've done that in the past, but man, I don't think I'm going much of anywhere with COVID going on. I'm just hoping I can go to A&T's homecoming next year. That's where I'm at right now when it comes to COVID. Can I go to GHO next year? I'm not a Tar Heels fan, so. And Rashad's not a Florida State fan, so. He has converted. DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins over Justin Jefferson. DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins over everybody. There ain't too many other wide receivers I'm starting over DeAndre Hopkins. I just want to be clear saying that you need to start DeAndre Hopkins. Look, man, people like to follow points. Justin Jefferson has some pretty good days. My debate right now, believe it or not, is it's between Justin Jefferson and Mark Andrews. But I have a thing about starting two tight ends. I'm not a big fan of doing it, and I have Kelsey, so I'm kind of hesitant right now. I like it, man. I play it occasionally. I haven't played it in a little while. But yeah, I like it. My kids love it. Like I got Mortal Kombat, Ninja Turtles, and Marvel Superheroes behind me too. I have another one on the way, but I'm thinking about canceling because I'm running out of space to put them. So Gallup. I would start Justin Jefferson over Gallup. Yeah, the thing that's pretty good about the NBA Jam is you can go online and play people, which is pretty cool. But what I want to do, like there's a room back here. I want to clean out this room and then start moving the arcades in there. And they're pretty lightweight too. The only thing that sucks about it is putting it together. I hate putting these things together, but I'm not good at putting things together. So, but if I could do it, I'm pretty sure you guys can, because I despise putting stuff together. 2-minute warning, guys. You got a lot of wide receivers. I'd rather start Claypool over Gallup at this rate. Damian Harris or Chase Edmonds? Give me Chase. Give me Chase Edmonds. Let's running backs to share. Chase Edmonds might end up taking the job from Drake. 2. But let's see here. But man, it's been a pretty good weekend to say the least. Pretty chill. Can't complain about it. For those who don't know, I stream too. I do some gaming. I stream some games. I've been on a Mario 35's tip over the last couple weeks. Henderson over Harris. Sure. Yeah, I'll take Henderson over Harris. I have Robbie, D-Hop, Gallup, Claypool, Jefferson, Julio, and Juju. That's pretty good. Why aren't you starting Julio? Why aren't you starting Juju? I mean, in that order, I would probably do D-Hop's 1, Julio's 2, Juju's 3, Robbie's 4. Actually, look, man, I'm playing Julio today. I got to. Like, I mean, I'm playing him. I mean, I could see Antonio Brown playing again, but I don't know if I would trust him, depending on where he ends up going. But he might not. I mean, the man's made a lot of money, so he might not. He probably don't have a need to play again. To be honest with you. But yeah, so like I said, man, I do some streaming too on my Uncle Dave podcast page. I did some streaming this morning. I played Mario 35 for like 2 hours, and I've been jumping to a bunch of retro games. Once the new systems come out, I'll probably play some newer stuff too, and mix it up a bit. But it is now 12 o'clock, and it is time for me to go. You can follow me on Twitter at champd1012. Follow the podcast at Panther Nation Podcast. Subscribe if you haven't already. On Twitter, we're Panther Nation PC. And I will talk to you guys maybe later today. Definitely tomorrow at 8:30 when we do our live show. All right, folks. Have a good one.